"You're trespassing," she said, already on the phone with 911. She was standing on my family's ranch, land we've owned since 1952, blocking the gate with her Mercedes like she owned it. I'd just come home from an 18-month Army deployment, dust still on my boots, and she had no idea that this one phone call was about to destroy everything she'd built. What would you do if an HOA tried to steal your family's land? Stay with me, because the land she claimed was community property was never legally hers. I'm third-generation Stone family. Stone Creek Ranch, 200 acres of Texas hill country. Cattle Creek, county fairs. Neighbors helped for decades. Then Meadowbrook estates arrived. Luxury homes. City money. HOA rules thicker than the Bible. And at the center of it all, Karen Whitfield. HOA president before the first house even dried. White Mercedes. Clipboard confidence. The kind of woman who says community standards like it's a threat. At first, it was small. Photos at the fence line. County complaints about unsightly livestock. Violation notices taped to my door while I was overseas. Then she escalated. $500 a day in fines for unauthorized livestock operations. On a ranch that's existed longer than her subdivision. That's when I knew this wasn't ignorance. It was a takeover. But Karen hadn't even made her first real mistake yet. 2 days after I got home, Karen showed up with a lawyer, demanded I remove my cattle within 48 hours. "This is a residential zone now," she said. "Your hobby farm is lowering property values." Hobby farm. 70 years of sweat. Dismissed in one sentence. I told her calmly, "We're grandfathered agricultural. Since 1952. She smiled. "Not according to our attorney." That smile told me everything. She thought paperwork beat history. She thought intimidation beat law. And that's when I stopped reacting and started preparing. Here's something most people don't know. HOAs lie, confidently. So I went to the county courthouse. 3 days. Property records. Meeting minutes. And buried in 2019 zoning documents was the first crack in Karen's armor. Her own husband, the developer, had argued that my ranch increased property value, used it as a selling point. And here's the bombshell. The subdivision was built around my zoning, not over it. Karen's attorney? Either incompetent or lying. Then the survey came back, and it got beautiful. Their fancy HOA entrance? Built 15 feet onto my land. Stone pillars. Signs. Landscaping. All illegal. So I filed a trespass notice. Karen showed up furious, dragging a county inspector. She expected citations. Instead, she got reality. "This ranch predates county zoning," the inspector said. "Everything's legal." Karen snapped. "I'll make his life miserable until he sells." She said it out loud, in front of a county official. That was mistake number 2. But her biggest mistake was still coming. Karen decided cattle weren't the angle, so she tried environmental warfare, claimed our creek was a health hazard, redirected water flow, filed state complaints. Here's the problem. I'm Army Corps of Engineers, and she had just violated federal water law. Riparian rights, protected since before Texas was a state. 3 days later, cease and desist. $10,000 a day fines. The state inspector praised our ranch as a model operation. The newspaper ran the story. Photo of my bull Roosevelt, front and center. Karen, publicly humiliated. And instead of stopping, she went nuclear. Code enforcement. Social media lies. False police reports. She painted me as a dangerous veteran. But here's what military training really teaches you. Document everything. Cameras. Logs. Witnesses. Then I dug into her past and found the truth. The HOA had been built on 25 acres my family never sold. Clerical error. Defective title. They were living on stolen land. Karen had been harassing the actual owner. Herself. County hearing. Media present. Karen couldn't help herself. She accused commissioners of conspiracy. Called Ranch Heritage a museum piece. Security escorted her out. The ruling? Heavy checkmark, ranch owns the land. Heavy checkmark HOA violations void. Heavy checkmark HOA dissolved. Heavy checkmark Karen removed. Heavy checkmark developer charged. 6 months later, Karen gone. HOA reformed. Property values up. Ranch protected forever. We hosted a harvest festival. HOA families. Ranchers. Kids. Roosevelt got a petting zoo. And the land stayed where it belonged. Ever dealt with an HOA nightmare like this? Drop your story in the comments. Because sometimes the good guys really do win.